Hi everybody, and it's time for another edition of Bengal Magazine. And on the show, we're going to go outside, talk a little cross country today with our new head coach, Ridge Robinson. And Ridge is bringing along Sabrina Brooks, his junior from Highland Mills, New York. And then let's talk soccer. Mark Howlett, head coach of the men's soccer program in his second year, bringing along sophomore from East Aurora, Joe Vucic. I got to make sure I say that right. And Joe is lighting it up on the fields outside. Nick DeMarsh joins us from women's soccer. And Nick's bringing along Gabrianna Boldinski, a defender from my old high school, Kenmore East. We have Bengal update with Gabby Mediak, and of course the Tim Hortons Athlete of the Week. So we got a big show. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're going to talk a little cross country. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to talk a little cross country now, and Ridge Robinson joins us along with Sabrina Brooks. Ridge, you took over the program in July for Dustin, who went on to supposedly greener pastures. But I'm curious. That's not a lot of time to get ready. Most coaches are using spring and summer to get ready for fall coaching. What were your objectives early on?
Sure. It wasn't a lot of time. However, I felt Dustin set me up perfectly because we had already laid out the groundwork for the season. The biggest trial that I had coming into the season was probably just learning the administrative work, really just figuring out how administration works.
Yeah, and the state of New York.
And, I had to hit the ground running, learn as I go. And I think it's been a smooth process. I don't think my issues have really been so much that like I thought they were going to be. More so it's just been staying consistent, and you're probably going to hear consistency a lot more with me during this interview because it plays into my training philosophy.
I would think, and you had a hand in recruiting, so the faces are familiar to you. That had to help.
Yeah, it did, and it helped that I had a lot of senior leaders that are able to, direct where I want to go with this season and really communicate with my other athletes. And then on top of that, I felt we had a good group of freshmen coming in, that are going to kind of embody what I want to do this season. So
great. Well, Sabrina, you're a junior, a leader though. Curious, how was the transition for the student athletes with the new head coach?
Everything's new. Yeah, it was a shock to us that Dimmitt was gone, but Ridge is actually doing really great.
Great.
Yep.
Did you give her $20 to say that?
I didn't.
Okay, great. Sabrina, let's talk about you. You're off to a terrific start. Took third, I believe, in the Daniel Walker run, the 5K run. 70 runners, 1952 on that 5K. And then at Brockport, a 6K run, 23:44. Is the season where you thought it would be right now for you?
Actually, I'm way ahead of where I thought I was going to be for September. So I'm really happy, and I'm just going to try to run faster. I'm going to think about 20 seconds off of the school record for the 6K. So I'm just going to try to get that.
Well, you're calm about that now, but off camera you go, I'm going to get that. Can she get that 20 seconds off her time? And how is that going to happen?
Of course she can. I mean, we're very early in the season. We just started really attacking a lot of my base work for the early portion of the season. She's been flawless just in how she executes practice. She's one of my standout performers because we go in, we do workouts. She's on point. When I tell her to do something, she does it. If I had somebody that I could put as my poster for the season, it'd probably be Sabrina on the women's team.
Okay. Do you have a way of running a race? Are you off quick start? Do you lay back a little bit? What is your personal philosophy in running a 5K or a 6K?
Well, right now I'm not that confident because I just ran 2 races and I took a year off and everything.
Okay.
So I've been laying back for the first mile and then just really digging in for like the second 2. But I think at Lehigh in a week, I'm just going to go out strong and just stay out. Is that a philosophy that you carry, or do you let the runners kind of do their own thing, however it works for them?
I think in terms of my coaching philosophy, I really feel that they need to learn how their bodies react to training, how they need to learn racing principles. I try not to stress too much stuff going into the races, especially since it's my first year. I really want them to kind of understand how they need to do it themselves. Now, once we get to Suniacs, there's going to be a lot more tactics involved. But right now, I really just want them to get their feet wet and learn, just basic principles of racing and running and training.
So the overall training philosophy, are you similar to your fellow coaches, or do you have a different philosophy? Is it a lot of distance? Is it short and long? Is it more short? How do you train your runners?
This might be a long answer, but
we've got a couple minutes.
Coach Dimmitt hired me because we had similar training philosophy.
Okay.
I go off of Arthur Lydiard. He's a very world-renowned coach from New Zealand. It's high mileage. It's phases, base, speed. Essentially, I promote, my big thing is consistency. Okay. Week to week, hitting things as they need to be. It's all plotted out. I could go on and on.
No, that's okay. How does that relate to your style? Are you comfortable with this type of coaching style?
Yeah, I really am. I think the reason why I'm doing so well is because I'm staying consistent.
Great.
And doing what I'm supposed to do. The little things are stretching, the icing, the new ice bath and athletic training, it's great.
Nice.
It's really working.
Yeah, absolutely. That's part of the $27 million renovation of Houston Gym. The Daniel Walker moved to the fairgrounds from Beaver Island State Park. The reaction to the move out to the fairgrounds?
Well, given its purpose, which was for the regional.
Correct.
Which, since Dimmitt left, we did not do this year. That was its goal. I think it would serve as a good place for that. Some coaches didn't feel that way, and some coaches that have come to our meet didn't want it to leave its traditional cross-country, kind of scenery and everything. And so, talking to alumni that were at the meet this year, I think we might end up moving it back to more of a traditional setting.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think that's going to garner more people.
Yeah.
And if I can find the right venue and it works out, we may end up hosting the regional in the future. So,
your thoughts of the course from a student athlete and someone who's actually running the course?
Well, it was just really hot that day, and there was no shade, so it was just a full 3.1 miles of just sun.
Exhausting.
Wow.
Well, that's why we headed out there to gauge it and to get some reaction. So we'll move forward over the course of the winter and the spring and move forward. Ridge, Sabrina, thanks very much for being on the show. Best of luck the rest of the way. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, men's soccer joins us. Stay with us.
Hi, my name is Brandon Lathrop. I'm a sophomore on the football team. My dream job would to be ESPN sports broadcaster. My favorite show on TV is the Bill Cosby Show, and my favorite food to eat is lemon pie. The number one thing on my bucket list is to learn how to ice skate, and one of the things I love doing besides playing football is going late night shopping at Walmart.
Well, congratulations going out to Joe Vucic from men's soccer. He is this week's Tim Hortons Athlete of the Week. He's a sophomore business administration major, had 2 goals in the Bengals' victory over DeUvo last week. Joe has scored at least once in 4 straight games and leads the team and is in second in the conference in scoring with 7 goals in 7 games this season. So again, congratulations to Joe Vucic, the Tim Hortons Athlete of the Week. And guess what? The lead-in is perfect. There's Joe, our guest, along with head coach Mark Howlett from men's soccer. And gentlemen, thanks for being on the show. Coach Howlett, first time on the show this season. Why don't you give us a quick overview of the team?
It's a new look to the team. We have a lot of newer players, 16 in total, out of the 25 on the roster. So, working in new players to the system, right, and 12 freshmen adjusting to college life. So it's been a work in progress.
First really full year, second year as head coach. Mark, do you sense that your brand is on this program right now? You've been able to do what you want to do. The old culture's gone, and if so, what is the brand of men's soccer right now?
I think the culture's definitely changed.
Okay.
I think there's a commitment, a year-round commitment from the guys now, and with the new guys coming in, they just see that that's the way it is. I think the brand is still, we're phase 2 in it. There's still a couple more phases to be added, and next year and the year after will really be then that brand. But it's getting there.
And Joe, you've been with Mark now for a couple seasons. Do you sense that? Do the other student athletes sense that Coach has got his stamp on this program now?
Absolutely. We're all buying into his program.
Okay. You are having a pretty good year so far. Does any of this surprise you right now?
I mean, I prepared off season.
There you go.
So
when you say prepare off season, what do you mean by that? Are you working in the summer on the game? Are you playing? What happens in the summer prior to the fall?
I try to get out to the field almost every day.
Okay.
Shoot around, play a lot of games, do some running.
You have 7 goals right now, second in the conference, 35 shots. Last year you were kind of in a backup role behind a very good player. What has happened this year? Have you taken what you learned last year and moved it onto the field? Why are you having such a great year?
I think a lot of it's been my mental game's been improving.
Really?
Yeah. My finishing in the final third has been rough.
Okay.
Like just at the start, but it's been improving.
Okay. Does this surprise you at all, Mark, the type of play from Joe this early on in the season?
No, I actually was very excited about Joe coming into Buffalo State last year and knew the talent that he had. He's right, and his mentality and his focus has really improved since last year.
Okay.
He's matured a lot, and I think that's why the success is happening. And it's usual for a freshman to come in and not really see a lot of minutes.
Correct.
So he's now just stepped up. He's took what he learned last year and the experiences he had, and he's really leading the offensive force right now.
Let me try to get into your mind a little bit, because you talked about the mental aspect. I'm assuming you're in prime physical condition. It is a physical sport in terms of aerobics and also physicality of the sport too. Explain more about the mental aspect of your game.
Okay. Sometimes I find myself in front of the net, and you just can't get the ball in the back of the net.
Okay.
It's just it's a lot harder than it looks to put the ball in the back of the net.
Right. So you're almost convincing yourself to do it and move from mental and make it happen physically?
It's almost overthinking it.
Okay, that's
right in front of the
interesting.
net.
That's interesting. We have taken on a couple nationally ranked opponents, and I'm curious from both of you what you get out of those. They were 2 losses, but what do you get coaching-wise from playing competition like that in relation to your team?
We want to be one of the best teams in the country, and for me, my philosophy is you have to play those teams. We opened up second game of the season against a nationally ranked team and struggled. We struggled as far as the pace of the game, the speed of play, freshmen coming into the college game. Last week we had a game against another nationally ranked opponent, and you can see the difference. They feel more confident, they feel that they can compete, and we did compete.
Okay.
And preparing us for conference, where we've got a very tough conference schedule, that's going to really help us grow and know that we can compete at that level.
From a student-athlete perspective, what did you gain from playing that type of competition?
I mean, we're right there with them.
Okay.
You know, we're not far off. The games they could have gone either way.
So the speed of the game was a little different, and then the Bengals may have caught up with the second nationally ranked team.
Yeah, I just think, if you go into the season with games that aren't really going to test you and really find out about yourself, then it's, I'm not doing a justice to the guys going into conference play.
Okay.
I think we know our weaknesses. We've worked on those weaknesses. We also know our strengths.
Okay.
And I think going into this weekend, that's a huge positive for us.
Well, how do you get to that level? Obviously, you have strengths and weaknesses that you've seen. What are you working on with them to move them up to the next level?
Well, now it's just about hiding those weaknesses.
Okay.
And it's about, continuing to work on those strengths.
Okay.
Every team's going to have them. It's how you combat that and how you limit them.
Right.
And that's what we're doing in training every day.
Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you both being on the show. Best of luck the rest of the way. Men's soccer continues out at Coyer Field, absolutely free. So please check out our website and come on out and see the Bengals take on conference competition now. We're going to take a quick time out, but before we do, it's time for Bengal Update. And here's Gabby Mediak.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Bengal Update. I'm Gabrielle Mediak with a recap of news and a look at the upcoming events surrounding Buffalo State athletics. Volleyball is now 9-5 overall after a straight set victory over the University of Rochester. All-American Sam Parente pounded out 11 kills in the non-conference match. Kayla Pitts added 6 kills and 5 blocks, and Courtney White also had 4 blocks. The Bengals open conference play September 26th and 27th at Oswego. Women's soccer used 2 goals from freshman Melissa Chandasoto to rout Madai 4-0 on September 20th. Megan Chappell and Nikki Tinnerman also scored for the Bengals, who opened conference play at Brockport on September 26th. Senior Rich Pete had his third straight 100-yard rushing game, but it wasn't enough, as the Bengals dropped the 29-21 homecoming game to Alfred. Pete carried 22 times for 116 yards. The Bengals returned to action on September 27th against Empire 8 rival Salisbury. Kickoff is at noon at Coyer Field. Buffalo State welcomed the class of 2014 into the Athletics Hall of Fame during their annual induction ceremony on September 19th. Swimmer John Meade, school record holder in the 50 and 100 freestyles, All-American softball player Nicole Sabuda, and former Vice President for Student Affairs Dr. Tom Koller were inducted, along with the 1969-1970 men's basketball team, which advanced to the NCAA's Final Four. Upcoming home events include men's soccer taking on Brockport on September 26th at 4 p.m., followed the next day against Geneseo, also at 4 p.m. Reporting for Buffalo State Athletics, I'm Gabrielle Mediak, and we'll be right back after this short timeout.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Campbell. I'm a senior for the track team here at Buffalo State. I'm from Owego, New York. My favorite TV show is Arrested Development, and my favorite movie is Strange Wilderness. I have an associate's degree from Hilbert College before I came here. I originally started running track just to get in shape for soccer. Something most of my teammates don't know about me is I volunteer with the Coast Guard here in Buffalo, and I do a lot of work and training at the station there. My pregame superstition is I always have to have a pep talk from Coach Allen. That's how I know I'm going to get a good race. He always gets me motivated.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Let's continue talking a little soccer, and we're joined by the women's program now. Nick DeMarsh, the head coach of the Bengals, and Gabe Boldinski, the junior defender from Tonawanda, and Ken Maurice, go Bulldogs. Can you tell that's where I went? Nick, let's go back a little bit to last season, and I know we don't want, that's in the past, but that was a terrific year for the Bengals. 11-6-2 overall, semifinals of the conference, 6-2-1 in the conference. Coaches like to forget about that. That's last year, and yet I'm thinking there are things, little points, maybe some pluses, maybe some negatives that you can take from that season and carry into this year. Do you, and have you?
Absolutely. I think if you look at all your past seasons, and we do statistical analysis from 2002 when I got here forward,
wow.
We look at all the stats and we look at the season as a whole and we say, what were the particulars that made us successful, or why did we fail in each season? And we try to take those specific things from each season and carry them in philosophically to the team. So can we promote these kind of behaviors in practice, in the games, that produce wins?
Specifically, was there anything from last year that you're carrying into 2014?
Well, we always work on set pieces, and we want to defend them well, and we want to score on our restarts, corner kicks, free kicks, penalty kicks. So that's always been a hallmark of our program. Good defending, not conceding a lot of goals has always been important. To me as a coach. I want to be organized. I want to look like we have a good defensive shape. So again, those are things that are always there, and those are some of the things that made us effective last year.
Well, Gabe, from a student athlete perspective, what do you take from last year and carry into this year?
Our defense, our back line has done really well, and we didn't lose anyone, so I feel like defense wins games. It's
interesting. She said we don't lose anyone, and yet I look at this roster. There's 2 seniors, she's a junior, and 13 freshmen. Maybe didn't lose anybody there, but certainly you have a lot of new faces, and I'm kind of curious, how has that changed your coaching philosophy, if at all? Are you coaching differently, teaching differently?
Yeah, we haven't had a freshman class like this in many years, maybe ever. We had a lot of graduating seniors, a lot of new faces in the squad, so I find myself going back to a lot of very basic things that we haven't had to work on in the past few years, particularly about the way we defend and our 1v1 responsibilities. It's been an interesting transition for a lot of new faces. They're coming to grips with the college game, and it's a big jump for a high school player to jump into college and to get major minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Gabe, do you feel as a junior that the freshmen are looking up to you, and especially as a captain. And how do you relate to the freshmen, bringing them along?
I mean, I know how it felt to be a freshman, and I started my freshman year, so it's a big adjustment, and I feel like it's my responsibility to help them adjust from the high school to college level soccer.
It must be, Mark had mentioned it, but I'm curious your opinion. From high school to the college game, is there that big of a jump, Nick, from a senior at Kenmore East to a freshman at Buffalo State?
You know, all these kids are from different places.
Yeah.
And they all come in with various levels of experience. Some have played very high level, high school or club soccer. Others are really good athletes. Maybe they were the big fish in a small pond where they were. They're used to being the go-to player. And now they're in an environment where they're not playing against other 17-year-olds.
There you go.
They're playing against women, 20,
That's right.
21, who have already been in the battles and understand what it takes physically and mentally to perform for 90 minutes. In college, if you switch off and you're playing a good team, they will punish you, and you'll lose a game on one mistake. And we've learned that this year. We've played some tough teams, and I think we've had the better of the play, and we've dominated the ball. But one mistake,
There you
and
go.
you get punished.
And the game's over, basically.
Yeah.
We have about a minute and a half left, and we were talking off air about how this young lady became the captain. Tell us the process that your team and you use to select a captain.
Well, we kind of have a collective philosophy on the team, and I want personally input from each individual players. I want to know what the team thinks. Now, we will ultimately make the decision,
Sure.
but we poll the team and we say, we ask them very pointed questions. Who would you follow into a battle, into the game? Who lifts you up? Who do you look up to? Who's a good role model to you? We ask them several questions, and they say, who should lead this team? And then they give us 2 or 3 names. And we look and we tally and we say, do these names match up with the names that the coaches believe will be captains? And sometimes it's eye-opening, but usually we're on the same page.
Sure.
And in Gabe's case, it was very simple. The team wanted her, the coaches wanted her.
That's got to be such a great feeling.
Yeah, it makes me feel honored that they put the trust that I can help lead the team.
Gabe's a leader by example. She gets on the field and she does the business. She wins headers, she tackles, she's tough as nails. She's probably one of the best center backs in the conference, maybe in the region.
Wow.
And I don't think she always gets the credit, but I'm here to tell you, this is a tough nut.
And you agree with that leadership style? You're not. Explain in your words how you lead as a captain.
I mean, I know that they look at me, so I just try to work my hardest and, yeah.
Actions speak louder than words, right, Coach DeMarsh?
Absolutely.
Remember that when we're in the office. Well, Nick and Gabe, I wish you the best of luck at Brockport, I believe, this Friday. So good luck to that, and we'll see you down the road on more shows.
Thank you, Tom.
We're going to wrap it up here in Instructional Resources. Thanks to everybody behind the scenes, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks for more Bengal Magazine.
Hi, I'm Kara Stein, a junior from the softball team. My favorite thing about Buff State is the family atmosphere. My dream job is to be a math teacher. The number one thing on my bucket list is to travel to Ireland. The best place I've ever been to is the Bahamas. Something my teammates don't know about me is that I'm deathly afraid of heights and bridges.
Hi, my name is Ryan McHale. I'm a freshman from the men's swim team. My hometown is Lancaster, New York. My favorite book is Harry Potter. My dream job is to be a high school teacher. My favorite thing to do besides swim is play ultimate frisbee. And my favorite pregame meal is spaghetti and meatballs.
Hi, I am Jasmine Porter, a sophomore from the track and field team. I'm originally from Niagara Falls, New York. My favorite food is hot chicken wings. My dream job is to work for E! News. One thing I love about Buffalo State is that I've met so many great people. And my favorite TV show is Scandal.
Hi, I'm Michelle Del Favreau, and I'm a junior on the swim team. I'm from Auburn, New York, and something that most of my teammates don't know about me is that I was homeschooled from preschool up until I went to college. My favorite movie is The Avengers. Number one thing on my bucket list is that I want to travel. My favorite thing to eat before a swim meet is pasta.